Right.
So,
So
why is HD's eyes getting so big? Anyways, we've got a Czech Prime and AT and Socke. Czech Prime is going to be the Zerg at the top right, and Zocke's going to be the blue Protoss on the bottom left. And Czech was a big player back in the early days of StarCraft 2. Known pretty much to be one of the first Koreans to start playing StarCraft 2 professionally, and was very good at it. Lately, though, we haven't seen too much out of Czech. At least I don't recall seeing much out of Czech lately.
still absolutely an incredible player, though. He's always like the first guy to sign up for any of our qualifiers, which is actually kind of cool. It's okay. I'm gonna gush for a moment, and my slight nerdgasm moment, if you want to call it that. But it's really cool to work for an organization that players like this just want to be part of. They're like, yes, I want to be part of your tournament. So that's actually really cool for me. In Czech Prime, just wanting to have that sort of enthusiasm for these games is really cool. So we'll see what these players bring to bear now. Of course, this is ZVP, so a little bit different dynamic, pretty balanced map for this matchup. I would expect nothing less than some sort of a 3-gate expand with a wall out of Socke and a 15 hatch into pretty predictable, Speedling Roach, some sort of build, something like that. So.
Yeah, something of that sort. I mean, that's what Zerg players got to do against Protoss players, and I'm interested to see what Czech is going to do against Socke. This is my most difficult matchup, so I'm going to be studying Czech quite intensely to see how he plays against Socke.
15 pool.
It's a 15 pool. Yeah, I mean, pretty common now to open up with pool before hatch. You can't really hatch first against Protoss. So he is going to get that pool on 15 supply. No gas quite yet. And it looks like he's gearing up to throw that hatchery down around 16 supply. So he may pull 2 drones off the line to deflect that probe. And we'll have to see.
Well, I imagine.
One.
Look, he's actually going to sneak by there.
And Socke actually pulled the probe out, so he's going to give Czech the free hatchery.
He gives him the hatchery, but he gets valuable scouting information. He knows there's no gas coming up, so this is going to be early speedless lings. So he has the potential to jump in there and do a little bit of early sentry damage, something like that. And it looks like he has built a cybernetics guard that is not a full wall. There is a little bit of a gap in there, so I have to check. A little more familiar with the Terran buildings, of course. But, yeah, pretty standard fare to both these players, although Socke already saving up quite a bit of chrono boost, and I'm curious to see what that ends up going for. Second gas is down, of course, could be tech, but more than likely some form of sentry expand.
Yeah, it's probably going to be some form of sentry expand. I've said this before, though. A Protoss player on this map has a difficult time going for a 3-gate expand, because of the fact that a Zerg player has so many roaches and lings that they can go with the roach ling all in and break that down pretty easily on a map like this. So I'll be interested to see if Socke is going to do 3-gate expand or if he's going to do the 1-gate expand. I think 1-gate expand is controversially more safer than 3-gate expand. So we'll just have to see what happens.
It depends on what your opponent's throwing at you. He saw speed and less lings, so he'll be able to defend a little bit easier behind the back of just a couple of gateway forces. If he decides to, then he can use the 2 gateways to wall this in a little bit. Looks like his Zealot has already made its way up to Czech's expansion, though. And Czech is going to need to produce, it looks like 6 lings actually coming out, but the Zealot already going to work on the hatchery.
The Zealot is going to work on the hatchery. It's just going to do a little bit of damage. I like it when Protoss players send out an initial Zealot to the Zerg base just to keep the Zerg from just macroing their pants off. You got to send something to force them to produce a couple of lings, and you don't necessarily need to lose the Zealot, because in the early stages of this game, usually speed isn't done yet. So Socke did move out there, did a little bit of damage with the Zealot, is going to pull it back, and we are going to see the 1-gate expand coming out of Socke. And the reason why I say the 1-gate expand is controversially safer than 3-gate expand is simply because you could throw down those 2 additional gateways outside on the natural ground to help wall off your front door.
And oh no, Socke is actually in danger of losing this last Stalker. He's got to watch out. Speed, though, is a little bit late, so they're not going to be able to get the easier surround. It looks like he'll be able to back up and put down a couple of force fields, or just use the sentries to deal the damage necessary to drive away those Zerglings. But, yep, indeed, 2 gateways done. Be able to put down another pylon and a forge or something along those lines to create a full wall right here, forcing Zerglings all the way around if they want to do some sort of an attack.
Yep.
So Socke, even though he lost the early Zealot, didn't really do all that much damage. He's only taken out 1 Zergling. Still in a fine position.
And we do have a Twilight Council coming up right here for Socke, so it looks like he may be going into Blink or possibly Dark Templar. I hesitate to say DTs because if Socke wanted to open up with DTs, I think it would have been better to do the 1-base DT expand rather than already expand and then go for DTs, but because it simply would have come a lot faster. But it looks like he is going to get the Twilight Council down. And what is he going to do with that Twilight Council? No
well, he
revelation
doesn't
yet.
have the 150 or the 200 required yet. So.
And it is Dark Templar.
There you are.
Wow. Okay.
This
is a very unexpected timing for DTs.
We already have an Evolution Chamber up. Now, of course, there's no lair, so no threat of Overseers quite yet. And bam, Spore Crawler goes down right away. Actually, want to take a look at what Czech has seen.
Nothing.
Looks like he didn't actually pick up on even the Twilight Council at the moment, but he is still putting down preventative Spore Crawlers to make sure that he is not going to be harassed by air units or DTs.
Yeah, exactly. Just covering all his bases, just getting those Spore Crawlers because they're great defensive units. They're countering the cheese that might be coming out of Socke, and you know what? Socke is going for the DT, so we'll just have to see what happens. A couple of Lings going around for a run by, and those sentries, thankfully they have enough energy on the force field to keep those Zerglings away, but two of those force sentries go down, and that is huge.
Yeah, not only did he lose 2 sentries and a stalker on top of that, but he also lost all of the precious energy that was building up on those sentries anyway. So that was actually really, really, really bad for Socke. Very good for Czech Prime, and he actually realizes he's doing some significant damage. He throws down the macro hatch right away, and I think we may see just a giant, maybe not an all-in, I want to call it that, but just a massive +1 speedling push.
Yeah, it's possible, but he's going to have to figure out what to do against these DTs, which one of them has just now warped out into the middle of the map, but it looks like a couple of Lings are making their way into the natural, but they're going to go right into the front, and a force field keeps them at bay. But what about those Dark Templar, man? They are moving out across the map right now. A couple of Zerglings getting locked in. It looks like that sentry will go down as well, which is huge for the cost of only a few Lings. But these ZTs are going to look to bring Socke right back into this game, and there's no detection.
There's detection, but there's actually no units, and he just wasted a cycle on getting his drones. So actually, these queens are at risk. One's going to fall here immediately. Oh, Socke, what?
There is an Overseer coming.
Oh, it's not done yet, though.
There it is.
Okay, there was a Spore Crawler in the main. It looks like he did actually get a look at that. Let me take a look at his vision. Yeah, okay, so we knew that was up, so he didn't want to push in. Although I think he could have done real damage there, even if he had just tried to use their DPS for a little while. Well, it looks like he's going to split them up and take map control for the time being, but certainly didn't return the cost effectiveness that he wanted on those
No,
DTs.
definitely not. I mean, he's wasted a lot of energy on his sentries. He's already casted a bunch of force fields. He's lost a couple of sentries in the early game. Those are key and paramount to success for the Protoss when they push out in the mid game. You need as much sentries as possible. So that's already a bit of a detriment for him. He also moved out with these DTs, invested a lot in the Dark Templar. Hasn't really done much with them at all either. Loses one DT in the middle of the map to a Ling and Overseer surround, realizing that he's going to pull all of his DTs back, and let's hope he can salvage something out of this situation. Maybe make an Archon or something. I don't know, but he's certainly in a bit of a little bit of a ditch.
Yeah, a bit of a pickle.
Some would say. Yeah.
Indeed. But to his credit, Czech has been producing off of 2 bases this entire time, and Socke has actually been able to produce a bunch of probes. In fact, he finds himself at an economic advantage at the moment. Yes, there are 54 Lings on the field at this time. Yes, we have pathogen glands coming up. Yeah, so we're actually going to see a massive +2 attack behind the back of a few
Is this Stefano playing? Is Stefano playing against a Terran right now? What is going on here?
Well, we'll see if Socke actually has enough to go ahead and defend this with just Stalkers and a handful of sentries. Could be very difficult. Force fields going down, but not enough to trap off all those forces. Enough to make the Zerglings turn around, however. Even a nice blink up, and that is going to take out the Overseer. That's going to force another 150 resources, 50, 100 out of Czech, though, because we'll probably see a little bit more of a DT poke here in a bit as well.
Yeah, we might see some more DT, so another Overseer might be required. But, I was just kind of joking around because, of course, the Ling Destiny Ling Infestor build is so popular against Protoss, and I think that's what Czech is going for. And yes, he has a lot of Lings and 7 Infestors on the way right now. Pathogen Glands did complete, so this Ling Infestor build is actually really good against Protoss until they can get something like Mass Colossus out. Even then, Parasite counters Colossus quite easily as well.
Oh no, and Socke was attacking indestructible rocks, and the Zerglings were able to get in. He has blink, so he's able to blink most of those units away. Still lost a couple of forces, though. We see pretty even supply for our 2 players. Socke actually going to be able to make his way out in just a second. There's only 41 Lings on the ground. Yes, 7 Infestors, but only 41 Lings, so Socke, with pretty good control, actually has the potential to do real damage here in a push.
Yeah, Socke does have the potential to do a lot of damage. He has so many Stalkers that he's got on the field right now. Gonna go ahead and secure another Nexus down to the bottom. whereas Czech is going to go ahead and get the gold, but no production right now out of Socke, which is a little confusing. Usually you don't see a pro gamer not have any production at all, but I see he was saving up to get that Nexus down. But, you know, no upgrades, no more warp gates. I really feel like he should add on some more warp gates if he's getting his third. A huge fungal goes down on those 5 Sockers in the front, and they are going to get picked off. They can't even blink out of there. Beautiful play by Czech. And he's getting another fungal as well, but he's going to run out of links, so I don't know if he can continue this crusade of Stalker annihilation.
Yeah, it was still pretty effective for him, though. He only lost 1 Infestor, I believe, and ended up taking about basically 2 groups of Stalkers out of the equation altogether. Socke, though, really just needs some forces at all. He does have a Robotics Bay coming up, so he'll be able to move into that.
As Pain User says, Colossus Bay.
The Colossus Bay, indeed.
What else? I mean,
Warp Prism upgrade speed, dude. You don't even know.
Yeah, and of course, Observer upgrade speed, right?
Dude, sweet timing attack with those, yo. Anyway, here we go. 4 Dark Templar. Looks like we're going to turn right into Archons. Actually, it would have been cute if they had poked out and tried to do a little bit of damage, then morphed Archons after that. But, you know, actually, I take that back.
Oh, those Archons just morphing out.
Because they morphed in at just the right time.
Oh my god, those Archons are going to destroy these Infestors and the Lings. That was huge. Those Archons came just in the nick of time. Is it going to be enough, though? I think so. I think those Archons saved Socke right there, and that Nexus is going to stay alive.
Yep. And,
wow, that was like literally those Archons popped out right when they were needed.
Yeah, exactly. But Socke is pretty significantly behind in supply now. His Photon Cannon actually doing work. 5 kills on it for the time being. 2 more Infested Terrans coming out. Looks like those
Infestors are getting picked off by the Stalkers.
You've got to watch out. There's only 3 remaining now in the initial group of 7, but so many +2 Speedlings. Those are so powerful, dude. Especially because the Zealots do have +2 attacks, so they're able to kill Zerglings in 2 hits. But
he's saving up 2,000. Is he gonna make 2,000 Mutalisks? Because he just finished his fire.
Yeah, he did just finish his fire. I don't know if he was looking for high tech or if he's waiting or what. This may just end the game right now.
Yeah, Speedlings might just end the game because Czech is just in dominant control right now. No Mutalisk coming up, but let me tell you right now, 20 Mutalisks popping out right now would be just a game ender.
Yeah, that'd be actually kind of disgusting. Yeah. We do have 1 Colossus coming up to see if Czech decides to do anything else or if even Socke is going to hang in this game for much longer. 11 Mutas coming up. Not as many as I had initially anticipated.
Mutas.
So there we go. Actually got enough for 5 points in a bit. But here we go. Speedlings are full position micro. They are. So many probes just went down. Actually, taking a look at the workers killed, 16 altogether.
So much more effective when you hold position the Lings in the mineral line,
It's
man.
really good.
I mean, if you just let them run rampant, then they'll go after the base defenses of the Zealots, and they're not that effective.
And here's that Muta switch you were talking about. There's 15 of them. We have another 6 coming up. Actually, that's 17 now. That is a pretty ridiculous amount of Mutas, and Socke is going to be like, aha, but I have a Colossus. And then he's going to be really disappointed in about 2 seconds. So here come the Mutas. We may see a GG right when these Mutas show up. The Photon Cannon goes down. The Colossus is going to start doing some damage, and there's the GG.
Yeah.
Socke has lost game number 1.